Kuro has officially released Lynae's signature weapon along with the full information of the stats that it provides. So in today's video, I'll be diving deeper into the pull value of this weapon by analyzing how it easily synergizes with Lynae using the kit information that was provided earlier to give you guys an idea of what you should expect from her gameplay and build. Then we'll dive into which characters can benefit from this weapon from a free-to-play perspective, other weapon options available, and finally my pull recommendation to help you guys decide if you should pull or skip this weapon based on several situations. For the stats, she's rocking a 24.3% crit rate with a well-balanced base attack of 587. This means you don't have to worry too much about rolling flat attack or attack percentage substats in addition to double crit to get at least 2k attack, unlike other pistols like Carlotta's because of the low base attack. So for Lynae's weapon, the focus will be on double crit in addition to basic attack damage bonus if you want to double down and hyper optimize her build. But double crit will do just fine if you have her weapon. If she has crit rates on her skill tree, which seems to be very likely since her kit information does not provide crit rate, you should be looking at around 70% or more total crit rate if you manage to get double crit on all her echo pieces. Just like my GNC build here with the same stats on her weapon and crit rate on her skill tree. Now let's get into the passives, which is where things get a little bit more interesting. The first part buffs attack by 12%, which is nothing special due to the high base attack that the weapon already has. The second passive grants 36% basic attack damage bonus after the wielder cast an intro skill or deal damage with basic attacks at least once, which lasts for 4 seconds. Each time the wielder inflicts Tune Rupture or Tune Strain shifting with basic attacks, all damage dealt by resonators in the team is increased by 8%, stacking up to 24% at 3 stacks for 30 seconds, which is a huge game changer for those pulling for Lynae because it makes her much more versatile in your team building as a sub DPS buffer. And I always tell my viewers to secure weapons with passives that can easily be activated so that you can slap it on any character as long as they can benefit from the passive. And this weapon is a great example of that, mainly because of the basic attack damage method of activation to get the 36% basic attack damage bonus. In terms of synergy with Lynae, the part where you get all the basic attack damage bonus early to buff all her damage is when you intro to get 100 points of her forte stacks, then basic attack until her forte stacks are full, which will also refresh the 36% basic attack damage bonus. Her weapon does not buff the damage from her liberation, however it's better to use it at this part of her rotation so that she can also benefit from the 24% team-wide all attribute damage bonus. You can then charge up the roller skates by holding your basic attack button to deal damage to the enemy, which is considered as basic attack damage. So it gets buffed by the 36% basic attack damage bonus from the second part of the passive. The third passive's activation is unfortunately limited to Lynae since she's the only character at the moment that can inflict Tune Rupture and Tune Strain shifting, and the part of your rotations where she can grant the 24% all-type attribute damage bonus to all teammates including herself is this part right here where you press jump 3 times after fully charging her roller skates to hit the enemy. You can then press skill or basic attack to plunge on the ground, dealing massive damage to the enemy that gets buffed by 36% basic attack damage bonus and the 24% all-type attribute damage bonus, because the jump attacks after fully charging her roller skates applies Tune Rupture shifting or Tune Strain shifting depending on the one that you select on her skill screen. And that's about it for its synergy with Lynae. In terms of synergy with other units, DPS Alto is the only one that can benefit from the 36% basic attack damage bonus because his jump shots are considered as basic attack damage. No limited 5-star units can use it in terms of synergy with the passive, so unless you play DPS Auto, this weapon will be stuck on Lynae for now. Also keep in mind that without the 36% basic attack damage bonus, it'll perform very similar to Static Mist, which also has the same crit rate and base attack. So things are not looking good for this weapon from a versatility point of view due to the limited number of premium pistol units that we currently have in the game. However, when paired with Lynae, she becomes one of the most versatile sub-DPS buffers in the game, but we'll get into that very shortly at the pull recommendations section of this video. For her weapon alternatives, everyone should have Static Mist, and she can give the attack buff that it provides to another hybrid or DPS, in addition to the 15% all-type attribute damage amplification and 25% liberation damage amplification because of her Ultra skill. So units like Yuno and Shangli Yao will be one of her best teammates if you're playing Lynae as a sub-DPS buffer. But Carlotta's signature should give you the highest damage due to the large crit damage substat, as long as you can roll some flat attack or attack percentage substats to get at least 2k attack. Because of the low base attack of 500, the passive will be almost useless because she'll only benefit from the 12% attack percentage. Galbrenna's weapon will be the second priority in terms of damage output due to the well-balanced base attack and crit damage. Keep in mind that the passive will be almost useless as well. The worst one in terms of damage output will be Chakona's signature weapon, not because of the useless passive, but mainly because of the low base attack, and the high crit rate won't provide that much value in terms of damage if she has crit rate on her skill tree. The damage difference between her signature weapon and her 5-star alternatives, including the new 5-star weapons, will be provided in her dedicated guide video, so be sure to look forward to it. Now here are my pull recommendations. It's quite obvious that most players pulling for Lynae will pull for the weapon anyway, and if you fall into that category but you're not quite sure as a free-to-play or low spender because you want to get the most value out of your limited pulls, I highly recommend that you pull for the weapon anyway because of the following reasons. It's one of the few weapons with no limitations on how any pistol unit that scales off basic attack damage can get the 36% basic attack damage bonus, which is huge for a non-signature weapon. Don't think of it as just pulling to make Lynae hit much harder, but rather securing a weapon that allows Lynae to be much more universal in your team building, mainly as a sub-DPS buffer, since her outro amplifies all attribute damage of the incoming resonator by 15%. The weapon buffs all teammates' attribute damage bonus by 24%. Her liberation buffs teammates' all attribute damage bonus by another 24%. And finally, she allows everyone in the team to deal more damage from the Tune Break skill, since she provides Tune Break boost. And for those who have no idea what Tune Break boost is, she basically buffs the physical damage that all your teammates can trigger when the enemy's off-tune level is full, just like the Tactical Simulacra off-tune event. So Lynae is the closest unit to a universal sub-DPS buffer that you can pair with any DPS unit or hybrid, as long as they don't rely on negative status application to deal damage. So this weapon is a must pull if you're pulling for Lynae. But if you're not pulling for Lynae, I recommend saving your pulls because you won't get that much value out of it unless you play DPS auto, which is highly unlikely for the majority of you guys. That'll be all for Lynae's weapon pull value breakdown. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel because it's free and you can always change your mind. Our Discord link will be in the pinned comment if you're having any issues with the game, help with your build, or you just want a place to chill or hang out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.